And welcome on in, everybody. It's Frogman here, King Pepe II, bringing you some more Brown Dust 2. Happy New Year, by the way. Let's start off by saying that. Happy New Year. We're welcoming into the new year some more Brown Dust 2 content. And I'm here to give you the latest on guides, feedback, and also covering live streams. But with that being said, guys, hope you guys are all doing well, though, for real. And taking care of yourselves. Hope you guys have some more big goals that you want to achieve this year. I know I have. I have a lot of them, in fact. Now that the holidays are kind of winding down right now and everything, well, they already did, but, you know, still people are celebrating, I'm sure. But anyway, I can finally get back into uploading regularly and posting regularly as well. So for starters, in the new year, we're going to be checking out the new Fiend Hunter boss here, Frost Spirits. So water type elemental, so let's have some fun seeing it. If anybody new to my channel, like, subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you find my guides helpful, I really hope that I can help you guys out with it, really. I don't know what to say on that, right? But I'll have 2 coupon codes down below in the description. I know one expires tomorrow, so if you're watching this video right now, I would enter it today because it does expire. And then the one below that coupon code, it expires on January 31st, okay? But yeah, so with that being said, let's hit it. Okay, so this boss was kind of interesting, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying that in a bad way or a good way. It was just that salamander boss was a lot more straightforward. So we're gonna take a look at this first, but as always, I'll go over, you know, gear and all that. Just for starters, because I know that some people might want to know like what type of gear should I use and stuff like that. So let's take a look. So since this boss is a physical type, we want to have invulnerable armor for starters, and also we want to have the Helm of Carnage because that's where you get all your defense from, right? Now I know Deanna and some of my other waifus here, I know that they have other armor, like this is Immortal Golden Armor, and then this one is the Scale of the Sea God. I had those on because I didn't upgrade my other invulnerable armors, so that's why I have them. But the best choice is always going to be invulnerable armor and Helm of Carnage when it comes to, you know, defenses. Okay. Substats. As always, I'll always say this. Every single guide I do, always have your substats for all 3 of them to be crit damage percentage numbers because it is a lot easier then to basically have other characters or other costumes borrow, you know, because the thing is, if you get a substat that has like this, for example, right? Venica, she is a wind, right? She's a mage, right? She's a magic type. So let's just say if one of these substats had like an attack percentage in it, right? Well, that particular substat, no good. Wouldn't be able to use it in any way for Venica. That's why I always say, you know, if you have it at crit damage percentage, right, for all 3, which is usually what I have for a lot of the torso and for the helmets, because I could just mix and match them between magic and physical types, and I don't have an issue with it because they all use crit damage percentages, right? So that's why I always say, you know, if you wanna like end game a lot of this gear, you know, especially tier 4 types, which is this, then that's what you want to have for it. Okay? So only torso and helmet. Everything else, I would just go by, you know, what their skills are, and also look at their base numbers when it comes to them as builds. You know, so just go here into the profile, right? And then just check out what you have here. Obviously, her magic attack could be a little bit higher. Info, you just want to look at the growth preview, right? Like, look at their growth preview. So this is what they look like. Leveled up all the way for Venica, for example. So hers is 444. That's not bad. Actually, that's really nice, in fact. So hers would basically be, I would say, you know, percentage, magic percentage numbers, right? Also, another thing I want to talk about, because I keep forgetting to mention this, always go to your bonds, because in the bonds right up here, because the thing is, this actually does make a difference when it comes to you know, you fighting certain enemies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So like, you see clearly like the stats are different, right? Obviously, she has way more crit damage percentage numbers in this. This one she doesn't have as much, but her magic attack percentage number is actually higher for her belly dancer one than her DJ one, right? So like, in all honesty, I would probably switch it to this to maybe have more magic, right? Because I don't know. I mean, like I said, it really depends on the situation, you know. But I'm gonna choose her belly dancer one instead, right? And then you should see that her magic obviously it went up by a lot. You see that? So like that's what I mean. You have to like it really depends on the situations with like what you do with them in battle. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna be utilizing her belly dancer form a lot more with wind vulnerability for this boss. Okay. But yeah, so that's what all I wanted to say about the bonds because it's very important. Like I said, depending on the situation, just make sure that you equip them properly and stuff. But really, I would say the gear alone is, I guess, in my opinion, that's my opinion. I think it's a lot better to focus on this more than the bonds. Bonds is just something that, you know, it's a little extra, gives you a little bit of boost of power, so to say. But yeah, so this is what I have equipped. When it comes to the gauntlets and the necklaces and whatnot, always go for Venomous Fang for like crit damage numbers. So, or Venomous Touch, I mean. Sorry. Venomous Touch. I always do this. Obviously, set your stats to, you know, properly, like depending on their base stats, you know. God King Silver Arm I did for physical damage types for Wilhelmina and Tyr, because they're going to be the ones I'm going to be using. More so, it's Tyr in this case for my Team 1. And then as for my Team 2, I did the same thing with Nebris, because she's really going to be the one that's going to do all the damage for this one. So I put Nebris for Venomous Touch, as well as the God King Silver Arm. Now for the magic, for Venica, for example, I've remained the same for Venomous Touch. However, I changed it up with the Shackle of Treachery because this is like one of the best ones to use in the game when it comes to magic. Gives you a lot more percentages as well. So that's what I used. And as for like my supporters like Liberta, Rafithia, Terese, Deanna, Eleanor, because in this case, Eleanor, or not Eleanor, Elenir, one day, right guys, Eleanor, but Elenir, she's just going to be playing a support in this one, okay? You're really only going to use her one time. Now, this is just my team setup that I used. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have some sort of different setup. But until we get to, like, when it's fully released, this is more of, like, a practice guide on to maybe guide you and help you guys out, right? So, this is my team. My team 1 is Elenir's Bunny 1, Dystopia Deanna, and Adventurer Deanna at the same time. Terese, in general, I use her, her bikini costume or the Beachside Angel one, as well as her medical club. I used Wilhelmina for this one because this boss in particular, which we'll get to, you have to actually apply chain stacking in order to unlock a conditional skill. And then I used Tyr for this one because she actually did a lot more damage with this. And this boss was kind of meant for her in a way. Team 2, I used Celia and for the curse mostly for that because of her defense, where she applies like, well, she applies a negative defense number on the boss, so that's why I used her, along with the chain stack. Venica for the wind vulnerability for her belly dancer costume, as well as her DJ to reduce magic resistance. Nebris, I used all of her costumes for this one. Rafithia, I used her gloopy one and her bridal one for this one. Not so much her poolside one. And then I used, obviously, Liberta. Okay? So, let's go take a look at this boss. And I'm going to do it at 7. Just because if I did it at 6, I don't think it really matched what I wanted to do in showcase-wise. Now, I actually, surprisingly, did not pass this with my setup. That's why I said, you know, I'm pretty sure there are other setups that are better than this. This is more of just, like, you know, to give you, I guess, reference to what it is. But anyway, oh yeah, let me go hide my bunny girls here so you guys can see the turn base and all that, because I know like you guys love seeing that. So let me what's it called? Where are they? Okay, here we go. Say goodbye to them for now, just for now at least. Okay, so here we have on the right hand side turn 1. Okay, so let's take a look at the bunny boss here. So it's skill used. So it deals 2,565 physical damage to the enemy, equal to 300% of your attack. Apply 1 SP cost reduction to the enemy for 6 turns. Right? Okay, so this is actually something you want to get hit by. Okay? Mainly, it's your units that are going to be your DPS. So, like, for example, mine would be Tyr and Wilhelmina. Okay? Because there's a reason for this. all your supporters, they don't have to get hit by that skill. Okay, so its second skill is attack the enemy 3 times, dealing 3,420 physical damage equal to 400% of your attack per hits. This is an attack you just have to tank. Okay, that's why you have to have that gear on, right? And then obviously, then we have the last skill here. It removes buffs from the enemy and causes instant death. Okay, so let's look at its conditional skill. Okay, so out of the 2 bosses that they dropped for this half anniversary update, this is the only boss that has one. Okay, the last one, excuse me, the last one didn't have a conditional skill. It's a pretty straightforward boss, by the way. That's why I loved it a lot. Okay, so Froststorm. Activate the skill if there are at least 12 chains stacked on any part. So that's why I said, you know. So that's why I have Wilhelmina equipped, because she does a 12 chain attack right off the bat, right? And then I had Celia on my other team because I'm going to be using Rafithia's Bridal Chain Refinements and Liberta's Onsen, where we're going to be seeing the chain stack go up for her. So that's why you have to have at least someone with chain stack, okay? Now, for anybody that was around like myself for the Sunrun Kagura, technically you could make Hikage work for this if you have her unlocked. Because she was the very first costume in the entire game that actually applied a 12 chain attack. And then Wilhelmina came out the following year, which was this year, right? So if you do have Hikage, you could use it for this. However, depending on how well built your Hikage is, right? You can do the conditional skill twice with the same team. Now, you can also divide the conditional skill, so you can use it for like team 1, and then you can reactivate it when you have your team 2 on the board, okay? But you can only do it twice, okay? So I'm going to get into that, by the way, as well. But yeah, so this skill activates a maximum of 2 times per battle. Attack the enemy 5 times, dealing 1,710 physical damage equal to 200% of your attack per hit, which is the bosses. Applies 1 stack of an effect that increases the enemy's property damage by 20% for 8 turns, which is us. This can increase to a maximum of 10 stacks. Apply 2 SP cost increase to the enemy for 8 turns, which is us too. So it's a double-edged sword here. But if you do have tier equipped for this, you do want to get that property damage buffer that this boss, you know, gives us, right? So this one you are going to be wanting. Now, I know that 2 SP cost increase is kind of a killer, especially for tiers, since a lot of her skills, you know, it increases her SP cost in general. So like her Guardian one, apply 2 SP cost increase to yourself for 6 turns though, like, you know what I'm saying? And then her Bunny one, apply 2 SP cost increase to yourself for 8 turns. So like that's what I mean. So it is kind of a killer when you look at this. So that's why I'd say activate the skill first so that this activates, because then the next turn when the bunny here like attacks you, it'll apply an SP cost reduction by 1 point. So like all in all together, you know, for example with tier, so like it's 4, correct? So once I get hit by the boss, it'll go up by 2. So then her cost is going to be 6 then, right? But then the following turn, when you get hit by this, it should go down to 5. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it should be with it, right? I'm doing that right? Correct? So let's see. So yeah, right now I'm going to activate the skill. So I'll put Augmentation on for Terese just to start off. Actually, no. Let me get some SP restoration. So I'll restore 3 points with her base costume. I always keep forgetting what it's called. But yeah, I'm going to do that instead. Get some SP back. Deanna, you don't really have to do anything with Deanna at the moment. It's really the next turn. I would activate her property damage aura next, right? You could also use her Dystopia to apply shield. It's only 1 point, so it's really not a lot. But if you want to save that 1 point, you can. So in this case, I'm just going to leave her where she's at. Elenir, obviously, going to increase my attack. So she's going to go... Actually, she's going to go first with with Elenir. Okay? So depending on how much you built her, right, you're going to get so-and-so percentage of, like, attack, magic attack, and so-and-so percentage of vulnerability to the enemy. Okay? It applies for 10 turns, so That's a good thing, right? I'm still recovering from this cough, so I do apologize. But yeah, so here we have it. Gonna do that first with Elanir's Bunny one. Gonna do Terese's Restoring SP here. Gonna leave Deanna where she's at. Man, I need a drink of water here. Gonna activate Wilhelmina's Iron Monarch next, right? Here, let me get a drink of water. My God. I really hate this cough. It's been killer on me for like almost 2 months now. Ah, man. Okay. Sorry about that. So, gonna now activate the conditional skill with Wilhelmina now. So, I can just put her next, to be honest. And then, as for tier, I'm not going to activate tier on anything yet because I'm going to save that property damage increase for her when I get to it. Okay? So, let's see how it should play out. Ah, damn. I thought I got over this cough, like, you know. I mean, it's gotten better. You know, it has gotten better. It's like a dry cough, really. It's still irritating, though. I just gotta keep hydrated right now. Went out to do the snow and, like, you know, to start off the new year. Had to go do the snow and all. I was like, yippee, right? And let me lower the music a little bit, just so you guys can hear me talk. Oh, man. Okay, so now we got hit. Okay. Now that we got hit, let's take a look at our property damage. So it increased to 160%. Let's get it. Now, Wilhelmina really isn't going to be using that property damage because she's not a counter to water, obviously, right? Okay, so now we want to get hit by this. Okay, so just keep them the way they are. You can activate now if you have Beat Idol Elanir, right? If you have her, I would use her. Now, the weak points on the boss is actually on the left-handed side of this. So you want to target this end. You see how it says 200% here, and then like the middle says 50%? That's why you want to have tier on the left-handed side always. So we're going to bring Elanir over here for her ability. She actually reduces the enemy's defense by 20% for 2 turns. And if you do have her leveled up, then that's a good thing because then you can actually then activate her turn every other turn. It's like a 3 cooldown. Okay? It's 3 cooldowns, so you could do it every other turn. So we're going to put Elanir here, right? We're going to activate also Deanna's Adventurer now. Unfortunately, yes, it does cost more. Actually, to be honest, you could activate this before, just so it doesn't cost 4 to be... Yeah, maybe I should have done that. Let me actually do that. That was my bad. It's the first turn, so it's okay. So let me actually activate that first instead of it costing 4 in the long run. So we'll do that, and yeah. Always remember to put tier in the aura, by the way, so that the buff from Deanna works on her. Okay? Because if you look at her property damage now, it's like 60%. So that's going to go up even further. So this is how you want her to be, because this scales, you want to get hit by it. So yeah, just put Deanna up here. And keep tier over here as well. And let me see. I mean, to be honest, Wilhelmina doesn't have to get hit by this because, like I said, she doesn't counter water type because she's a water type. So in all honesty, it's only really tier. So it'll save you some points then too, as well. So like, you know what I mean? So yeah, just make sure Wilhelmina's on the left-handed side so she can target the weakness point still. Make sense? So I should have explained that. My bad. I know. Hey, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so here we go. Boom. There we go. Okay, so if we look at tier again, her property damage is 380 because of Deanna and that buffer that this bunny gave us, right? Okay, so now you want to bring Elanir over here so that she can reduce the enemy's defense by 20%. But before we do that, we're going to be activating Terese's ability first for augmentation. And then we'll put Elanir next. Still keep Deanna here so that she can stay with Tear and Tears in the Aura. You can also put, if you really wanted to. Now, be careful with this because the thing is, since this does activate twice, I would suggest not using Wilhelmina if you want to carry this skill onto your second team. But if you don't want to do that and you want to use it again, then wait a little longer before it gets to its final attack because this is already activated, right? So if you do it again, like right now, you're going to lose out on like, you know, you know, try to say you're gonna lose out on the buff a little bit more. I would just wait until you get to the end, so then you activate it like right before, you know, the boss, you know, KOs you and everything. So I would just wait, but you know, who knows? Maybe the other way's the better way. You know, who knows though. But let's see. I'll activate now. See how it costs 6 instead of 4. So this boss is gonna hit us again. So then instead of 6, this will cost us 5, right? Okay. So here we go. Oh yeah, and by the way, a really nice thing about this is that like anybody else that didn't get hit by this skill, right? They're basically gonna be having their. It's basically like poolside Raphethia. Poolside Raphethia reduces SP cost by like I think a point. It's the same thing. It's just in this case, this bunny boss applies it. Bringing in the new year with my girl Teresa, right? There she goes. Okay, so here goes Elenir. Okay, we got Tyr. Tyr does do a lot of damage, by the way. I mean, she does a lot. I wanted to try and see if like putting Homunculus Lathel in here would be better. But then again, Homunculus Lathel's cooldown time I think is like 5, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like a little too long. So that's why I didn't use him for this. Okay, so this one you just gotta tank the hit. So you see how it reduced it? You see? This is a free skill now, basically. Medical Club Terese, hers is now 2 instead of 3. So just gonna activate Medical Club Terese next. Don't really have to do anything with anybody else. For Tyr, going to use now it costs 7, which is crazy, right? Reason is because when you activated this skill, it applied a 2 SP cost increase, so that's why it doesn't cost 5; it costs 7 instead, right? So yeah, but you should be fine getting by with an FSP, you know, as long as you don't spend it. You know what I mean? But yeah, we should be fine with this. And we're getting close to the end for this one right here. So let's just wait until the end. Like I said, you can do it twice in with one team, but your second team isn't going to get the opportunity to use that conditional skill. Okay, just keep that in mind. Now, I experimented with both ends. I mean, honestly, the damage difference wasn't all that much. At least on my end. It's going to depend because everybody's builds are different, right? Their gear's different. But for me, it wasn't a major, it wasn't like a major difference with the power or like, you know. So, that's how I saw it as. So, I'm just going to activate it again now. So, I'll use Elenir's defense, and then I'll just use, oh my gosh, my mind. Well, Helmina's bikini skill here. Okay? So it's going to tackle like 2 here. And then I'll activate Tyr's Guardian one again. So it costs like 9. See that? Isn't that crazy? So that's what I'm going to do with that. So let's get it. Hopefully I can get a big number with this. I don't know. Do you guys find this boss interesting, difficult, easy? How do you guys find the boss? I know. My girl Wilhelmina is still rocking it. She's such a popular choice, especially for now. Right, like right now we have that popularity vote now going on. There we go. Okay, so sadly I cannot get to another turn here, unfortunately. So we'll just do this for the last hurrah, just because we can. So let's get it. But the popularity vote, Darian still in first. She is slaying it with the voting there. It's crazy because like Tyr is like right after her, and then Zenith is in third. Then you got Bunny Lowen in fourth, and Olivier's in fifth. I really thought that a lot more people would have picked Olivier. I'm not gonna lie, I really did think that. So we shall see, because I really do have a feeling like I believe Darian won this with the popularity vote. So we'll be getting like a +5 free one for her in the summer. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so now since I cannot unlock the conditional skill again, I can just go all out with the chain refinement and everything with Celia here. Okay, so it's gonna be a rather short match, by the way, just because you can't activate the conditional skill. So let's see, apply SP cost reduction. So all you got to do is just get hit by it. Okay. Um. So I put Nebris's Bikini ability first because increases your attack by 50% for 6 turns. If you're in a state reinforcement state, increase your property damage by 50% for 2 turns instead. So stat reinforcement, basically, if you have a buffer on yourself, right? Instead of increasing your attack by 50%. Now, it'll most likely, I think it's different when you plus her. My Nebris' other costumes need to be plussed a little bit more, right? But for the sake of this video, obviously, I have her a +1. So it's like 50% for 6 turns. So this is the one that I want. I do not want the property damage one because it's only 2 turns. So you would activate Nebris first so she can get this. And then everybody else, you you just activate their skills regularly. So I'll do Glutees for Rafithia, get some SP restoration and increase crit damage by 125% for 6 turns. And then for Liberta, I'll activate her Onsen one first because it's in effect for 6 turns, and then I'll activate her Dark Saintess one next because that's 4 turns, right? Venica, since I am doing this in the following turn, I'm just going to use reduce enemy magic resistance by 50% for 4 turns. So that's what I'm going to do. Also, remember, put them on the left-handed side. Okay? That's where the weakness is. So I'm going to put Celia over here. And I'm also going to use her... Let's see. I'm going to save the reduce enemy defense by 10% for 2 turns because I want Nebris to use her office one because this is like her best one out of them all. The more buff she has on, the more damage she does. So I'm going to save that one. Okay. So instead of the curse one, I'll just activate chain reinforcement for hers. So this is the order that I'm going to do it in. Okay. Try not to make the video too long. Because we're about a half hour in. It's like 27 minutes, right? 28 minutes. But we're at the end of this fight. But yeah, I'm still going to experiment and try different formations and things, just so I can see if maybe there's there's better layouts for this, which there probably are. In all honesty, there are probably a little better ones. These were just 2 teams I was experimenting with. I'm so happy that Celia is completed now with her skill animations, you know? Okay, so now we just go and do this. Okay, so gonna activate her Gatekeeper one. Okay, the Gatekeeper is basically because apply an augmentation effect to yourself for 6 turns, increasing your damage dealt by 100%. If you already have an augmentation effect, increase your crit damage by 200% for 6 turns instead. So the reason why, you activate Liberta's Onsen is because she applies an augmentation. So meaning that your Gatekeeper, if you have her unlocked for Nebris, you're going to be getting a crit damage increase by 200%. So if you look at it right now, mine is at 928, right? So this is going to go up by, what, 1100%, which you'll see then. So we're going to now put Dark Saintess Liberta next. Going to put... Bridal Raphithia, right? And if you do have a really well-built Bridal Raphithia, your property damage +5 for her is a 100%. Plus, the thing is, she only uses 1 SP point, which is actually a really nice thing because 100% for property damage plus SP1. That's incredible, right? And she also applies an energy guard too to you know, that she can tank hits along with everybody else around her. That's why I really do love that to her skill a lot, because it's cheap, and not to mention it's strong. Okay. Let's see. So now I'm going to do the augmentation for Nebris, and I'm going to now apply wind vulnerability. It'll last for 4 turns, right? And then I'm still gonna save. I'm still gonna save for Nebris' office one at the end. So I know my apprentice Celia isn't built, sadly. To be honest, I don't have to attack with her, so I'm just gonna leave it like this instead. So I'll just put them like this, right? So Nebris will attack last. Celia will attack before Venica, because you want Venica to activate the wind vulnerability, and Nebris will do a little bit more damage because of that. But yeah, strong supporter. Rafithia is a very strong supporter in this. That's why a lot of people use it for like fights. Okay, there's Venica now. Okay, Nebris gonna see her crit damage stats again. Okay, so we take a look at Nebris. Yep, it increased from 900 to 1100% here. So now we go all out and just do our thing. Put Breadwood Fithi again. Then we're gonna use the Curse Celia to reduce the defense. Liberta you can't really do anything with. We'll just use Venica's attack just to use it. And then Nebris, you see all these buffs on her. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, she's insanely strong. So hopefully we can get a good amount of damage out of it. So let's rock it. So this is the best way I could do it. God, I love this animation for Celia. You know, the one thing about Celia, I've always loved her outfits. That's the one thing I've always loved about Celia with her first costume when it was released. It was the outfit. It was really well designed. I loved it, and I still love it till this day. The design of it, very nice numbers, very very nice. We were very close. We were very close to defeating the bunny here, but hey, you know, that's what trying all this out is for, right? So I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I hope it at least gave you guys some references on what to do. I know I didn't win the fight, but I promise I'll try and see what I can do with the team layout in my next video. But yeah, Happy New Year, and let's have a great time for the end of the anniversary, because after the half anniversary, we're going to be getting into the new costume, which I feel is going to be Blade, as Onsen Blade, I have a feeling. Plus, they are going to be now very soon talking about the next Prestige skin, which I think is going to be Liberta. But with that being said, guys, take care, stay classy, and I'll catch you on the next. See you guys.